Around New Jersey, around the clock. This is News 12 New Jersey.
It was a storm unlike any other in New Jersey. 2 years ago today, our state devastated by Superstorm Sandy. We have team coverage on this anniversary this afternoon.
I'm News 12 New Jersey's Tony Caputo on the boardwalk in Seaside Heights. 2 years removed from Sandy. So much has been done. There's so much more to go. I'll have the story coming up.
I'm Karen Lee in Keensburg. Dozens of volunteers are going 29 hours straight to help out. I'll explain next.
Recovery 2 years and counting. I'm Eric Lance, Corona Report Chopper 12 with a look back and a look at how far we've come.
A lot to get to this afternoon. Thank you. I'm Carissa Lawson.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kurt Sieglin. On this milestone day, 2 years after Sandy, more than 50 million people along the eastern seaboard were affected when the storm made landfall exactly 2 years ago. This is a breakdown of how Sandy impacted New Jersey. 40 people died, 346,000 homes were damaged or destroyed, and over 189,000 businesses were impacted, including 75% of small businesses.
Well, 2 years after Superstorm Sandy, if you were not affected, you think everything in our state is back to normal. But for many people, definitely is not. News 12 New Jersey's Tony Caputo is at Casino Pier in Seaside Heights. Tony, perhaps the most iconic, shocking damage was done right there.
Yeah, absolutely. The roller coaster in the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, you talk to anybody around the country, they ask you, what part of Jersey you're from. You tell them, well, where the coaster went in the ocean. If you live in this area, they know exactly what you're talking about. And as you said, Carissa, far from being back to normal for a lot of folks who aren't in their home. Even this work being done here on the Seaside Heights Boardwalk right next to Casino Pier, this is all Sandy related. They're still removing the pier that they built that allowed cranes to go out to the ocean and clear out all of the debris following Sandy. So although the boardwalk is up and running again for the most part, there's still a lot of work to be done.
This past 2 years, we've been doing a lot of work, completely rebuilding, putting millions and millions of dollars into it.
The upper deck of Casino Pier in Seaside Heights simply crushed by Superstorm Sandy. The loss of that roller coaster sitting in the ocean, a sight that will always be synonymous with the power the storm produced. So much so, rebuilding plans have changed.
I used to have an upper deck that went out to the ocean, but we're trying to not go too far in the ocean, so we're looking to expand it to north and south instead.
We're told another roller coaster should be in place within a couple of years. Meanwhile, protecting against the next big storm is also in the works.
We will, in the next short time, maybe a year or so, complete a dune project and even add to that dune project with borough relief, with maybe a wall of some type, a steel wall.
And that's a project that's going to take place up and down the Jersey coast in an effort to prevent this type of damage from happening again if this type of storm ever does hit us again. And yeah, you can rest assured, folks who live along the coast, every time there's a storm predicted, it's difficult for them to deal with the possibility of having to go through that again. Now, as far as folks not being back in their homes just yet, the council president says, perseverance. He says the council is continuing to try, get the funds they need, battling with insurance companies. He says folks have to keep fighting until they do indeed get back in their home, but it's been a tough fight. Kurt, Carissa, back to you.
A lot of people are tired of that fight, too. All right, Tony, thank you so much.
All right, time now for your weather on the ones. And, this is going to be the first Halloween in a few years where the weather is normal.
Fairly normal.
Fairly.
Yeah, we had the big ice storm a couple years ago, you remember? And
yeah.
We had the nor'easter right after Sandy, and even in 2011, we had a pretty decent sized snowfall. Let's recap Sandy real quick here. We'll just go through the details and the nuts and bolts here. Power outages, 2.4 million people here in the state. Storm surge was over 13 feet. Winds close to 90 miles an hour and close to 12 inches of rain. Much nicer out there now, looking rather tranquil and fall-esque as you make your way out and about. We've got a wild ride, though, temperature-wise. 74 yesterday, 65 today for a high. We move in towards tomorrow, about 58, and then we slide in towards Friday. Look for high numbers here, Halloween, in the mid-50s. So that's a 20-degree temperature slide here. We've got clouds. We've got some showers trying to move on in as well. These are more nuisance variety than anything else. As a result, high temperatures again today from 62 to 69, sun and clouds, chance for a scattered shower. Overnight, late clearing, turning cooler with start time temperatures tomorrow from 40 to about 46. And then tomorrow, partly cloudy and seasonable, 56 to about 61. We'll talk about the changes and the Arctic air heading our way coming up in just a bit. Let's go back now to the news desk.
Well, on the second anniversary of Sandy, we can't forget the volunteers who've been working to bring back New Jersey tirelessly at that.
Thousands of people we've seen in and out of our state the last couple of years. Keansburg right now, dozens of volunteers are there trying to build a house. It's a marathon effort, and our Karen Lee is chronicling it. Karen.
Well, Kurt, dozens of volunteers, you see them right behind me. They're taking a much needed break. We're at hour 27 of 29. Now you see the house, you see it's elevated. This is where it all starts. The homeowner basically had federal money just for this and nothing else to repair his home. And that's where these volunteers come in. The shrill, piercing sounds of construction have been endless for 29 hours. But for Hilton Dantis, there's sweet, sweet music to his ears.
I thought of several times of giving up on altogether. Said this is just not fair.
Sandy's wrath left his then new home unrecognizable. He received federal grants, but it was all spent on elevating the house. What's the point in lifting a house if there's no money to fix the destruction inside?
What's the name of that tool?
Enter the nonprofit The St. Bernard Project, which rebuilds homes like Dantis's. On this 2-year anniversary, they teamed up with Farmers Insurance. Volunteers worked on this home for 29 hours straight. Even if you've never done a construction job before, it was no problem.
Not all of them require high skill level, but sometimes just a little bit of manpower. So when they send their workers over to us and we go through a short training period, and we put them to work, and we're able to get houses like this done a lot quicker.
Here in Keansburg, there's still 500 vacant homes, and we're going to do our part today in this community to bring this one back and have a great view.
Dantis is already envisioning his finished home, one that'll include dinner parties with the men and women here.
Here we are, we're celebrating, bring hope back, rebuilding, coming back to the township, to the neighborhood Keansburg that I love so much.
Now, the house is expected to be ready to go by next month. One person who might be even happier than the homeowner, his more than 80-year-old mother. She had to go back to her home country of Brazil when Sandy hit, but her son tells us he plans on bringing her back for this reopening. In Keansburg, Karen Lee, News 12, New Jersey.
Great effort ongoing there in Keansburg. Thank you, Karen.
And that homeowner bringing up a great point. He wants to get back to where he loves.
Absolutely.
People not leaving.
Governor Christie, meantime, touring parts of the state to check on the recovery today.
Yeah, late this morning, he was in Bergen County with the group Rebuilding Together. He met with volunteers working on Sabrina Street in Little Ferry. We'll check in on his stops throughout the afternoon. Stay with News 12 New Jersey as we continue our coverage of Sandy 2 years after the storm. Well, like a scene straight out of a movie, a disturbing scene unfolds in Newark and gets caught on camera.
A man spraying the street with bullets from an assault rifle. We'll hear from one of the victims. You know, when Chopper 12 flew 2 years ago, we got a look at the magnitude of the destruction at the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, definitely shocking when we first saw that video. Here's News 12 New Jersey's Eric Landskroner with a look at the aftermath then and now.
2 years ago, I was in the studio watching with everybody at home as Chopper 12 showed us just how badly we were all hit. But today, I stepped aboard Chopper 12 to show you just how far we've come over the past 2 years and how much work still needs to be done. The difference is night and day. 2 years ago, jaw-dropping images that made us cringe, images that told us in an instant the recovery wouldn't be a matter of weeks or months, but years. The Jersey Shore, flooded and on fire. Sandy's storm surge had wiped out dozens of homes in Camp Osborne and Brick. All that was left, natural gas fires. 2 years later, though, here's what the site looks like today. A clean slate, and a lot of frustration because plans to rebuild that site have hit a number of snags. Still, the difference is startling, and right behind that site is where we saw this.
The marina side,
of boats.
A pile of boats. And there's about, I would say, at least 30 boats in that pile there off to the left.
Not far away in Mantoloking, a site that to this day, the best word to describe it is disbelief.
There are new inlets in Mantoloking.
There's a house right in the middle.
That's where the bridge.
That's where the bridge comes in.
Oh my goodness!
And that is a free-flowing river right now. The ocean meeting the bay.
And devastation everywhere in between. A home left isolated on an island of its own. From Chopper 12, you could see what that house looks like today. You'd never know what had happened. The bridge and roadway rebuilt around it. Sadly, most of Mantoloking fared much worse. 2 years ago, our chopper tour showed homes smashed and wiped clean off their foundations. Today, many of those same sites hold nothing more than sand. But if you look around Mantoloking, there is plenty of work going on. Houses are being rebuilt. The tragedy is some are just getting started 2 years later. Our chopper tour 2 years ago left us speechless, hollow, and hurting because of what had become of our homes, wondering what we would be going back to. A lot of images were seared into our collective minds, but none perhaps more than this, which was seen the world over. Sitting in the ocean, the roller coaster ripped right off the casino pier in Seaside Heights, a place where so many childhood memories were made, mangled. And here's what you'll see today: a rebuilt pier, a rebuilt boardwalk, shops and all, a place to go once again to escape the everyday.
Well, you can see more of Eric's shore tour aboard Chopper 12 on News12.com and on News 12 Extra, channel 612.
We asked on our Facebook page how your recovery is coming along 2 years after Sandy. A sampling of the comments so far. Tyne says 2 years later, we're still fighting with insurance companies and praying RREM will work out for us. I guess we'll find out in a few weeks. Susan says we were approved a year ago for REM and still waiting to rebuild. The hole's getting deeper. Help, help. And Angela says still not in our home yet. Most have forgotten, but lots of us still live this daily. So sad. You can post your comments on our Facebook page. We may share them with our viewers this afternoon.
Officials are searching for debris following the rocket explosion moments after liftoff in Virginia. Flames could be seen shooting into the sky as the sun set on Wallops Island. Ocean City High School students from New Jersey were on hand. An experiment they designed for the International Space Station was on board, along with supplies, when this happened. The rocket is operated by Orbital Sciences.
And security's been heightened at government facilities in Washington, D.C. and other major American cities today. It's not clear which buildings are affected. It's a precautionary step, though. It comes a week after a man in Ottawa killed a soldier and then opened fire in Parliament.
The lava flow on Hawaii's Big Island is getting closer to the main road in the town of Paoa. It's less than a couple of hundred yards away and moving at about 10 to 15 yards an hour. Residents have packed up their belongings and they have been evacuated. So far, the lava has burned an empty shed and some tires. The lava from the volcano we should say.
All right, here in New Jersey, let's check the weather for the rest of this Wednesday. Here's James.
All right, good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. We're talking about a good go outside now. A little cloudy, a little gray, but a nice picturesque fall scene with some changing foliage here right around Tinton Falls. This is right around exit 105 there in Monmouth County. So going to be a bit of a wild ride, though, temperature-wise. 74 yesterday. High temperatures today in the mid-60s. We slide in towards tomorrow. We're in the upper 50s. And then in towards Friday, we're in the mid-50s on Halloween. So 20 degrees plus to the decline, to the downside here by Friday. And then 30 degrees to the downside by Saturday. Big changes afoot. They don't really happen today, but this first cold front moving through sort of paves the way for those changes. We've got clouds, a couple spotty showers, just kind of an inconvenience, nuisance type shower here later this afternoon. I tell you to bring the umbrella. I don't even think it's going to be that significant. The sky clears out later on tonight. That's going to drop temperatures back into the 40s. So the more inconvenient part about this could be the colder temperatures tomorrow morning. All right, we're watching the development of a storm system here. Model solution here as we head in towards Friday. Could take that area of low pressure here off the Carolina coastline, spin it out, and that's sort of supported by the European computer model as well. This is also trending and pushing a little further to the south. So if we see some wintry precip, more like the mountains of North Carolina and West Virginia than really for us, but it looks like we'll get some rain out of it anyway. 62 to 69, sun and clouds, chance for a scattered shower. Overnight late clearing, turning cooler, 40 to 44, and then in towards tomorrow, partly cloudy and seasonable, 56 to 61. A check of that 7-day forecast looks like this. Halloween, not bad. The kids are fine for Halloween trick-or-treating. Saturday gets cold, and we're watching for any potential flurry activity. We'll be back with much more. Stay with us.